a portrait of Putin. Scientists try to analyze a person who committed a crime. They want to understand how one becomes a criminal maniac. To do this, they often look deep into one's childhood, which is an important part of the personality formation. For a small child with a fragile psyche, the simplest event can be significant and influence the future, although an adult may not even remember such events. In 2016, the Polish journalist Krystyna Kurczak-Redlich published a book called Vova, Volodya, Vladimir – The Secrets of Putin's Russia, in which she outlined an alternative version of the Russian president's biography. According to the journalist, Putin falsified the information about his birth and origin, since true information could prevent him from being elected in 2000. According to the book, Putin hid his real date of birth, 1952 instead of 1950, and information about his real parents, presenting his adoptive parents as such. In fact, Putin's biological mother is still alive and now lives in Georgia. If we analyze the childhood of the current president of Russia, described in the book, the reasons of many of his actions become clear. Vladimir Putin was born out of wedlock and was at first raised only by his mother, Vera. When her son was 1 year old, Vera went to study in Tashkent. Vera Putina met a Georgian soldier named Georgy Osipashvili, whom she later married. Little Volodya was brought to Georgia, but after the birth of Vera and George's children, he became superfluous. Putin was sent to a childless military family in Tbilisi, then again to his grandparents, who later sent this grandson to the family of their relatives from Leningrad. Krystyna Kurczak-Redlich notes that as a child, Putin was taken from family to family, like a thing in a package. It is hardly surprising that Vladimir Putin has developed a syndrome of abandonment and uselessness. A person who suffers from this syndrome is afraid of being abandoned and betrayed. He or she does not establish strong and lasting relationships except, perhaps, with a narrow circle of people, but still without crossing some lines of openness and trust. At the same time, such a person can always rely on these people in a difficult situation. For more effective professional activity, Putin is forced to use the second option. The first example was the creation of the dacha cooperative Ozero Lake in a Leningrad region. In 1996, this cooperative was founded by Putin and a narrow circle of his friends, who, after Putin was elected president of Russia in 2000, took up leadership position in the country. They are Vladimir Smirnov, Yuri Kovalchuk, Vladimir Yakunin, Nikolai Shamalov, Sergei and Andrei Frosenko. In her book, Krystyna Kurczak-Redlich also writes that Vladimir Putin was severely beaten as a child. At first, this was done by his Georgian stepfather, Georgy Osipashvili, who did not hesitate to use a stick on him. And then the same was done by another stepfather, Vladimir Spiridonovich, who, according to the official biography, is Putin's real father. The fact that the president of Russia was a victim of violence as a child is indirectly confirmed by the occasional peaceful look on his face, which is a defensive reaction in order to arouse sympathy. This Putin's reaction is unconscious and automatic. As a result of childhood beatings, Putin developed a hidden vindictiveness, which resulted in the elimination of people who, in one way or another, disagreed with his policies or could become a problem in the future. First, generals Lev Roklin, who considered the war in the Chechnya a misfortune for Russia, and Alexander Lebed, who signed the peace agreements that ended the First Chechen War, died under strange circumstances. As a pretext for reinvading Chechnya and taking revenge on the Chechen people, Putin used the explosions of Russian residential buildings, which, according to the one version, were carried out by the Russian Federal Security Service. Investigative journalists who truthfully described the situation in Chechnya were assassinated. For instance, Anna Politkovskaya. While earlier murders were committed by Putin for personal satisfaction, he recently kills in a manner that leaves no doubt as to who is behind the murders, using the Novichok chemical weapon. In June 2021, during the television interview with NBC News, Putin was asked if he a murderer. The president of Russia laughed in response and said that during his tenure he got used to attacks from all sides under various pretexts. Such a reaction clearly did not correspond to the seriousness of the question. Laughter is a common means to cope with certain issues. For Putin, this was a defensive reaction to the fear of appearing stupid, ridiculous and awkward, that is, to the fear of being judged. In such cases, a person laughs first, so others do not have a chance to laugh at him or her. People who let out chuckles may feel insecure and try to force the same on their interlocutor. This is another of Putin's complex. Many analysts have noticed that the Russian president's gait has changed and he is limping. Viewers also noticed a swelling on his face and a decrease of the size of his right eye. Such visual symptoms may indicate cerebral hydrocephaly. In addition to severe headaches that cannot be relieved by the analgesics, this disease also causes memory and concentration impairments, as well as emotional instability. Putin also shows signs of mythomania, a psychiatric condition that affects people with low self-esteem. Mythomaniacs constantly lie in order to boost their own importance. They can only attract attention by exaggerating a situation or inventing it entirely. Inventing and broadcasting a parallel reality for his population through state propaganda, Putin believed in his own myth, which he considered sufficient reasons to start the war against Ukraine. Thus, the president of Russia sincerely believed that all Ukrainians wish to join the Russian world. He also sincerely believes in the power of his military. Putin's childhood complex have not gone anywhere and are now compounded by serious health problems. In this regard, the Russian president's fantasies of greatness and opportunity are interlaced with reality, and he cannot distinguish one from the other. The result is disastrous. Putin's actions may harm not only Europe, but the entire world. When such a person is in power, he or she is unpredictable and dangerous.